Well, good afternoon. I'm Bruce Daniel, and this is my interview of Disposition of a Teacher. And I'm putting the subtitle of From an Interview with an Aspiring Teacher. And so I'm not quite all the way where I want to be. So I've had a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science from Louisiana State University in Shreveport. While I was there, I went through the commissioning program through the Reserve Officer Training Corps, ROTC. I then served 20 years in the Army as a commissioned officer. Two of those were in the infantry, which really helped my leadership development. And then 18 was with the Signal Corps, which kind of touched base with my computer science technology. After I did that, I left the Army and I retired and I transitioned into the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. It's a high school program. It's designed to motivate young people to be better citizens. So that's what I am currently doing at this time. The purpose, obviously, of this video is to illustrate, demonstrate for you my disposition of an educator and what I think a professional educator looks like. So these are the interview questions that we're going to go through. I'm not going to read them verbatim now because we're going to answer each one of those as we go through this interview process. So the first one talks about successful disposition. So these are some of the things that I think I do that's successful. First, yeah, I think you have to have a passion to teach, and I have that. I would give myself a B minus, some days a B plus. It really depends on how things are going. But I want to be able to share my knowledge. I want to help the young people. I want to teach them the ways of preparing themselves for not just high school, but post high school. Cultural diversity is very important to me. I brought a lot of that from the Army. I was also an Air Force dependent, so I had all kinds of different friends when I went through the Department of Defense education system. And so cultural diversity is very important. There's a lot of prejudice or bias, and you can't teach somebody if you have those or if they have those toward you. So having a cultural diversity understanding and making the best of that environment, fostering a really good environment will help in the education process. And I bring that with me. So it's very good to have professional and ethical. Again, I bring a lot of that professionalism and ethical behavior from the Army. And so that really holds true in teaching. We hold the children of the community in our palms of our hands as we guide them through the education process. And so we owe our community the trust. And the only way that they can trust us is if we have the profession, we're professionals and we have a high standard of ethical behavior. Also, relationship builders that kind of touch based on that. So we need to be able to build those relationships. I'm pretty good at building relationships with my students. So they won't learn unless they feel like they can trust you, if you have their best interest at heart, if you care about them. Once you build that proper relationship, then real truth growth can occur in learning education. Lifelong learner is something else. I'm passionate about learning. I love to do professional development. I like to do online classes, even though when I'm not supposed to. If I can grow and learn in my aspect of a teacher to make me better, the Army would say we're going to sharpen our sword, right? We want to be able to do that to help the students. And finally, I'm going to say fair because I try to be fair to all the students. Not all the students are on the same academic level, and so you can't expect all of the students to read the same level for various reasons. And I had to learn that. But I really try to be fair with my students, and I do a pretty good job, I think. So the ones that are under construction, the dispositions that I'm working on, even though I mentioned cultural diversity, our culture in America is very easy to be distracted and to bring up prejudice and to have grow biases. I teach a lot of Hispanic students, majority from Mexico. Some of them are here illegally, and it would be very easy to fall into the trap of not wanting to teach them or having biases against them, and that's not what education system is for. They're here, we're going to educate them, we're going to help them grow. The next thing is building relationships. I'm pretty good with my students, but there's a language barrier between their parents or guardians. Most of them come from impoverished backgrounds, and so I want to make sure that I need to work on this to continue to make the parents feel comfortable. I have a Facebook page. I have social media that I use, a Twitter account, Instagram, so the parents can see all the activities we're doing and build that trust. Differentiated instruction, something fairly new to me. Probably about 5 years ago, it was introduced to me. I had no clue what it meant. I'm getting better at it. Not all students are at the same level of learning. And so you need to be able to work at allowing all the students the ability to grow. You've got to start where they're at, and then you've got to go from there and build up from that to gain ground on the education on learning. And so, but I still want to work on that. I don't feel like I'm there yet, and that may be a lifelong thing. And then community involvement, I think is very important to be involved. We do a couple things with my students, help elementary school kids during a reading process, help another elementary school with a carnival. So, but I want to be really involved. I want to be able to have the community see that we're really building strong students. What do I see as a professional? What do they look like? And what standards guide the thinking and action? First of all, some of these are going to be the same. You have to have the passion to teach. You don't have the passion to teach, it's not going to take long for you to get burned out, and you're not going to care. And the kids don't benefit. You may get a paycheck, but really you're really hurting yourself as well. Professional ethics, integrity, all the values, the core values that we want to have in our society. The educator has to have that. There has to be that public trust. And so when you earn that public trust, then you can go really far with education. I'm going to hit diversity again. Very important in our mixture pot of America that students feel comfortable, parents feel comfortable. Any student that walks in, no matter where they come from, what background, they should want to go to school and feel safe by going to school. And so we need to foster that. And again, that also ties in with the relationship building. Very, very important to me. Building those relationships. That's really the only way that we can grow, is once we trust and we can learn. And so that's very important. And then I think lifelong learning, because we all need to sharpen our swords as we go through our academic careers. How many long years you've been in education, things change. It used to be a chalkboard and a piece of chalk, and now we're using technology. So we've got to be able to grow and understand how to better ourselves as educators in today's society. Finally, so the conclusion. So this video has done just what we talked about doing. You've seen my disposition as an educator and what my views are on a professional educator. And I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.